Welcome to Afterlife TV. I'm Bob Olson. Let's talk now about a common question that I get, which is people have a child, but one of their parents, we'll say their father, has passed, and they have a new child, and now one of the things that they're concerned about is my father in spirit aware of my new son? Does he have any idea who he is? It's something that, of course, we all want to share with our parents. We love them. We want them to be a part of our lives, even when they're in the afterlife. And yet, a lot of us question if they have any idea that we even have this son. Now, this goes further than that, because it can go into, it's not just this particular situation. Perhaps you wrote a book and got published. Perhaps you graduated from college. Perhaps, you had any number of accomplishments over the years. You got married. You met your soulmate, and finally, living the life that you always wanted to live. You got married and living happily ever after. We all do. We want our parents, our loved ones, to be aware of that, even if they have passed and they're now in the spirit world. And we want to know, is it possible that they might know about these things? Going back to, you have a new son, and your father's in the spirit world. Does he know? Yes, he does. And let me explain 3 scenarios as to why I know this is true. And this is all based on evidence. I'm not going to get into the details of all the evidence that I've had over the past 12 and a half years of investigating life after death. But all the evidence leads to this. Number 1, they know, your father knows, our loved ones know, because they're aware of everything that's going on in our lives. All right? There's a huge amount of evidence that suggests that they know what we're doing from day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute, because all we need to do, first of all, is think of them, and they are there. Think about them. Start thinking about them. You can talk to them, and they'll hear you. You can think about them. You can talk to them in your mind, and they can read your thoughts. All right? That's all we need to do is think of them. They're right there. You got to understand there's no time, there's no distance where they are, so we don't have to worry about those things. In fact, you can be thinking about your father in spirit, and your sister in another state can be thinking about your father in spirit, and he can be aware of both of you and watching over both of you at the same time. All right, that's another video altogether, right? So because they are watching over us and aware of us, they know everything that's going on in our lives. And they know it from a much higher level, from a much deeper level than they would even know from when they were living. All right? Because they can read our thoughts, they feel our emotions. There's no secrets, all right, with people in the spirit world. They know everything that's going on. So when you are feeling that love for your new son, your father is feeling that love that you're feeling, all right? He recognizes the love you're feeling. As your child grows up, he's also aware of all the thoughts and feelings that your child is having, all right? They're fully aware of what's going on with us in our lives here. So that's number 1. Number 2, your father knew your son before you did, all right? Because think about it. Your son comes from the spirit world. The spirit world is our true home. So before we come here into this life, we're in the spirit world preparing for our life. Your son's in the spirit world. Your father's in the spirit world because he passed. They know each other. Your father knew your son before you did. Your father knew your child, whatever it may be, your son, your daughter. They crossed paths before your son came here. All right? 3rd case scenario. Again, all evidence suggests this. You knew your son before you knew him in this life. All right? You're in the spirit world before you came here. That's our true home. That's where we start. That's where we go back to. You're in the spirit world. You're preparing for this life. And the significant people who are in our lives, we make deals with. We make plans with. I'm going to do this for you in your life. I'm going to help you with this particular issue that you want to deal with, that you want to grow from. You're going to help me, and this is how we're going to do it. You're going to be my son. I'm going to be your mother. This is going to be your grandfather, right? We work all these things out before we even come into this life. And so therefore, your father knew your son, you knew your son knew both of you before you even were born yourself, all right? So 3 different scenarios. If the second and the third one are a little bit too much for you to fathom right now, at least understand that, you know, your father, our loved ones who are in the spirit world are fully aware of what's going on in our lives. They're fully aware of all the wonder and the accomplishments and the joys that we're having here. They're sharing in that with us, even though we might not be fully aware. And all you need to do is go have a reading with a psychic medium in order to know that. Because not only will you get evidence of memories that you had together that will come through the medium, come from your loved one in the spirit world, through the medium, they'll convey these things to you. But they'll also share with you the things that our loved ones in the spirit world saw us doing. So if you went to we'll just use as an example because this has happened many times. If you went to your loved one's gravesite and you were there and you brought some champagne because you were celebrating something, there's a very good chance, and this has happened many times, that they'll convey this through the psychic medium to you. I was there with you is what your loved one in the spirit world is going to say. I was there with you when you were drinking champagne at my gravesite. These kinds of messages come through time and time and time again to give us evidence to know that they are with us on a day-to-day basis. Does that mean that that's all they do is they hover over us and watch? No, it doesn't work that way. It works, it's very different, and I won't get into that in this video. But anyways, I hope that answers your question. Are our loved ones aware of our new son or our accomplishments or anything that's going on in our lives? Yes, they are. Okay? Hope that helps.